When it comes to ARK, beginning can be a difficult task, so the Outcasts proudly presents our Beginner's Guide to ARK Extended. When you first load up ARK, you'll be greeted with a lot all at once. You will have the option to play single player or multiplayer. I recommend starting off on a single player map so you can really get the feel for everything. ARK can be confusing, so I would start on the island. Once spawned in, you'll have a lot around you all at the start. You'll have a lot of friendly dinos next to you and most likely a few not so friendly dinos looking for an afternoon snack. The first few dinos you'll most likely meet are a parasaur, a dodo, a trike, and a dilo. These are pretty common in the starting areas of the map. There are three categories of dinos that you'll meet. A parasaur, which is a passive dino, meaning you can hit them and they won't attack back. A trike, which is a neutral dino, which means if you hit them, they will attack back, and they hit hard, just a warning. The third type of dino is an aggressive dino, which you will meet most likely pretty fast in the beginning, which is a dilo. They will attack you for no reason at all. Now it's time to gather some resources. Gathering resources may seem pretty self-explanatory, but there are some tips and tricks to gather more faster. First, there's punching. Simply walk up to a tree or fallen branch and punch it to gather wood and thatch. Now you will begin to realize that this doesn't work on rocks, so you'll need to craft your first tools. Go into your inventory and find a pick. This will take stone, wood, and thatch to craft. To craft this, look around on the ground for small rocks and press E to gather them. Now punch a tree to get wood and thatch. Now you can craft a pick. By crafting this, you'll notice your XP bar going up. We will get to what this means in a minute. The next tool that you will need is a hatchet. This will cost wood, thatch, and flint to craft. Flint can be found from mining rocks with your pick. Once you have two tools, gathering will be 10 times easier for you. Now you will need to get your first weapon for defense. Find the spear in your inventory. This will cost flint, wood, and fiber. Fiber can be found from pressing E on bushes. And now you have your first three tools. Now let's move on to leveling. ARK has a massive leveling and XP system within ARK. To keep it simple, the more stuff that you do like gathering and killing dinos, the more experience you'll receive. When you receive enough XP, you'll get one level. These levels can be used for health, stamina, oxygen, food, water, weight, melee, movement speed, crafting skill, and fortitude. These all are really important so you can level what you'd like, but I'd start with recommending with sticking to health, weight, and movement speed. These three are going to really help you get along. When you click on the highlighted plus symbols, you'll be redirected to the engram list. This menu is where you will unlock new items to craft. You will only get a certain amount of engram points, so spend them wisely before just unlocking everything. The best way to level up is to find explorer notes, which can be found all over the map. As a starter player, you'll get around 10 to 15 levels per explorer note. After around level 50, this will begin to calm down. Explorer notes not only give levels, but boost your XP by up to 6 times for a few minutes. This is really handy to get your levels up fast. I recommend looking up good player stats for ARK to get an idea of what to upgrade on your player. Now let's move on to your first dino to tame. Finding which dino you'd like to tame can be a difficult task to figure out. On ARK, there are hundreds of different types of dinos for you to tame. If you're sticking to a traditional map like the island, these are easy and basic dinos that you can tame. If you're looking to adventure to other DLC maps, I recommend checking out some of our other beginner guides. We have one for almost every single map on ARK. Anyways, There are a good amount of dinos to choose from on the island, so we are only going to pick 6 of the best ones and the easiest dinos to tame for starters. Coming at number 6, we have the Parasaur. This is a great berry farmer for a starter. These are easy to tame and can carry some weight for you. Next up is the Raptor. If you're looking for more of a carnivorous type dino, this is great for killing low level dinos to farm meat and hide. And coming at number 4, we have a Trike. This is the upgrade from a Parasaur and is relatively easy to tame. They farm a crazy amount of berries. Coming at number 3, we have a Pteranodon. This is most likely going to be your first flying mount. This is great for getting around the map, and you'll use this for pretty much your entire lifespan on ARK. Coming at number 2, we have a Direwolf. These are great for killing dinos and can be boosted when in packs. They are simple to tame and are great for a lot of early game farming. Coming at number 1, we have the Argentavis. This is going to be the most useful tame that you will need at the start. They can carry a ton of weight, kill dinos for you, and they even have a smithy built into their saddle. What more could you ask for? If you're wanting to know how to tame these dinos, head over to dododex.com. This has helped me since I started ARK to teach me all about every dino in the game and how to tame them. This is not sponsored, by the way. Finding a place to live on ARK is one of the most tricky things to do. Over the years, you used to just be able to live wherever you'd like, but now in the modern day, you can no longer do this. On PvP servers, you have to stay hidden. On PvE servers, you can still kind of stick to this rule, but you may be asking where are the best areas to live. For PvE, I'd look for the most flat area that has the least hostile dinos. These areas are usually great spots to live. Before you decide to build in that said area, make sure you are near a water source, resources, and dino spawns. Having these 3 aspects makes for a great home so you don't have to travel as far for your daily needs. For PvP, you will need to stay hidden. With the new updates over the last few years, if you're not hidden, you will be raided within hours. ARK has gotten more toxic with stronger dinos, meaning your base will not survive. Make sure to build in either a cave or a rat hole. And now you can also build underwater, but this is more of a late game feature. When you build in a cave or a rat hole, this allows so you have a strong entrance that will be hard to get into, causing most players to not attempt to raid you for a long time. Caves allow for all of your dinos and base to be hidden so players cannot come and kill your dinos from the air or see what your base looks like. Be careful when building in most caves, as each cave has a different damage multiplier, meaning your structures can be weaker inside of the cave. Now let's move on to your base layout. Having a proper base layout will make everything 10 times easier for your everyday life. If your base is a mess and all cluttered up, it will be harder to get work done. At the start, don't try and make your base the biggest and the beefiest out of all of them. This is where every new player messes up. For PvE, having a bigger base is okay, but on PvP this is a big no-no for ARK. Building a bigger base creates bigger weak spots on your base. Start with a smaller base, like a 3x3 or a 5x5. Having a smaller base allows for more room to expand in the future and allows for less defense and weak spots. Since you're new, I'd start with creating a smithy first, which means you will need some forges. Then slowly upgrade to a fabricator, and these 2 will be what really gets you going. After this, upgrade to an anti-forge. This will allow for you to smelt metal 20 times faster, quite literally. Once you have an anti-forge, aim for creating a chem bench. Once you have these 4 items, your base is set for success. Make sure you have at least 1 turret on each side of your base on PvP servers with around 200 ammo in each one to start. You will need to expand this rapidly, but it's a good start to keep wandering players off your base for a few hours. Now, let's move on to some useful items to have for starting off for you for when you get bigger. The first item being a double door. Having a double door allows for small dinos to be able to get inside your base so you can log off for the night without worrying about them. They also make your base look a lot better too. Next up is to craft a grill. A grill will make your life a lot easier as you can cook food a lot faster. Next up is a cooker. This will allow for you to make recipes and dyes. You can make a custom recipe, so for example, if you put 20 cooked meat in for one recipe, it will give you the equivalent of 20 cooked meat per food that you consume. Next up is an indie grinder. This is going to cost you a lot of resources but will be the most useful item in ARK. Indie grinders can turn stone into flint, and does the same for other items. The indie grinder does not only do this, but for each stone that you turn into flint, you will receive a lot of experience for your player or dino. This is the most efficient way of leveling up on ARK, and all you have to do is sit next to it while it crafts. Next up is a giant metal hatch frame. If you're looking to expand your base on the PvP side, and you have a lot of turrets, place these on the corners of your base, and you can place more turrets and this will cover more range. Next up is the large crop plot. These can be used for growing crops, which are really useful for recipes and taming. Next up is the water reservoir. These are great for bases that aren't near water sources. You simply place these on top or next to your base and let them fill up with rainwater, and you have water for your base or crops. Next up is the cryopod. This allows you to pick up any dino no matter what size, and you can transport it into your inventory. These are very cheap to craft and have been one of the most useful items in ARK for me over the years. Lastly is the vault. This has 300 slots in its inventory and takes around 15 C4 to blow up, so having these in your base is amazing for storage. Next up we have finding all the artifacts. Artifacts on ARK are the keys to unlock the boss fights. Artifacts can be found all over each map. Every map has them, and each map has a different boss. There are a lot of them to find and it's not going to be easy to farm them all. We won't spoil where they are, as you can look that up yourself, but each artifact is unique to its cave. On some maps like Extinction, you can use the artifacts to unlock an in-world boss. These bosses can interact with every player passing by. For more info about that, go check out our beginner's guide to Extinction video. Boss fights are going to be the final step to completing ARK. There is a boss for each and every map. Now these bosses won't be easy to defeat. Each boss has its own unique power that can kill you and your dinos pretty quickly, so you'll need to learn and figure out a strategy for each boss on ARK. Each boss will require all of the artifacts from that map in order to enter the arena. Once killed, these bosses can drop a lot of element, which will enter you into the element stage of ARK. This is where things start to get serious. Once killed, the bosses will grant you with the engrams for the tech items. You cannot unlock all of the tech engrams on one map, so you need to adventure to other maps to unlock the newer tech. Tech tier is going to change the way that you do everything. Items like the tech generator and tech force field will change the way you play ARK. Instead of the old electrical generator, you can place one of these down and it will power everything near it up to a 30 foundation range with no wires required. The force field is literally what it means. When activated, this will block any players from getting near it, and they will have to destroy it before they can even touch your base. Element will change how you do everything and can be confusing, but it unlocks an entirely new adventure waiting ahead. Following the storyline in ARK can create a really fun and long way to play ARK. By following the storyline, you will need to start on the island and find and read all of the explorer notes on each story map. You can ascend on the island, which will complete the island. To ascend, go to the volcano and go through the cave and fight the world boss. This transitions you to the next maps. Each map has another side of the story you get to explore. This can take hundreds of hours to do, but can be worth it, as in my opinion, ARK has one of the craziest storylines. Once you journey your way all the way up to Genesis 2, you will complete ARK. The final boss fight won't be easy, as you have to defeat Rockwell's final stage. We won't spoil what happens, but all that I would say is that you will see what ARK 2 looks like. The storyline of ARK will journey you through each map to the end of ARK. Once you have completed the final boss, your journey has come to an end and you have completed ARK. But anyways, thanks for watching.